Okay, so we're back because it's been a while again.
Yeah,
we're doing us,
bear with
you know
us.
What I mean?
You guys you'll hear from us when you hear from us. Pretty
much. But yesterday, so let's kind of go back to a few weeks ago. We don't usually go out into the city at this point in our lives, like we used to, whatever.
Yeah, it was like the thing to do in your 20s.
Yeah.
Now it's like every now and then.
You know? So we had an every now and then night recently where we went to like a couple of new speakeasies, Hotel Chelsea.
Yeah.
We went to, our stomping grounds, the West Village.
Yeah, we Googled like where people over 30 go to, because I feel like
it wasn't accurate, but
it really was. Yeah, I mean, I think
it was a mixed bag.
These Gen Zs kind of go everywhere, but like I feel like lately,
where do they get the money?
They'd be nepo
we were talking
babies,
about the
trust fund babies,
skyrocketing prices of mixed drinks is insane.
It is
Cocktails
pretty wild.
are like $30 each. It's crazy.
It's really bad. But essentially, we've been going to places and being like, wow, there's really young people. We feel really old. Let's go to some, like, upper scale places. And it was fine.
It was fun,
but,
the little
we had a good time
because we were together. But we passed this, like, psychic, palm reader,
clairvoyant,
tarot card.
kind of medium
And you could
person.
tell that, like, they're located right in the middle of, like, a drinking West Village, so like they're getting that crowd, no matter if they're fake or not.
They're getting people who are stumbling in, if you will, I would say.
And not to be confused with the bar Stumble In, which is on the Upper East Side, which is a great bar.
Right, no. More like the saying, they stumble into the place and ask for a reading.
But ever since then, we've been just like kind of like joking around wanting to do something, like a palm reading or something.
Yeah, and we like zeroed in on palm reading. So I Googled like best palm readers in Queens.
And obviously filed Yelp. And
Yeah. And mind you, whoever gets on that list just pays Google the most. If that's like, let's be honest here, okay?
And she's like, oh, it has 109 5-star reviews. I'm like, that's probably his whole family.
Yeah,
it's like this Indian man.
Yeah, and Indian families I feel like are usually really big. I don't want to stereotype, but that's what I hear. And so it does make sense that maybe every single member of his family
like, just
and a couple of friends.
5-star review. And all the reviews were very generic, like things came true, or like he did a great job through me, or something.
They were all ChatGPT and like say this in a different way, like he has like 190 emails and he uploaded them.
So for our Saturday after Halloween, we went to Pio Pio, which was the best part of the night.
So good.
And we went to this palm reader, spiritual guide psychic in Jackson Heights.
Yeah.
That was located in the back of an Indian dress shop.
Yeah, an Indian dress shop, exactly. And it's so funny because I've walked up and down that block like throughout my whole lifetime, like countless times. And it's like I would have never thought that behind this Indian dress shop was
a curtain. And behind that curtain was Baba Furjeet.
But I don't think that was him, because when I Zelled him, he had a different name.
It kind of looked like him in the picture, though, but he has, like, a long beard, and he didn't have a beard in real life.
Maybe the real psychic was, like, he has some
He's on vacation?
co-psychics, and then he hits them up, and they show up.
Vacation,
and that's why he hit up his, I don't know. His other mans, who's a psychic.
So anyway, let's...
Yeah, how do you want to do this?
Do you want each of us... We're going to do a very, very quick as it could be, experience. Diana went first, so why don't you tell them what the spiritual guy told you?
Okay, so I go in, I sit down, I write down my name, I write down my birthday. He tells me to shake some shells, and he counts
shells. Yeah.
Yeah, he counts like the amount that are.
It all seemed legit. There was like lights everywhere, and he had the shells.
The music was going. Yeah.
The incense was burning.
Yeah.
Paint the picture for you.
Yeah. It was like a tiny little. It's like you're in a closet.
You're in a closet.
You're pretty much in a closet with this dude, and so. He like looks at my palm under a magnifying glass. He looks at my forehead
he was like,
under a magnifying glass.
Oh, I didn't get the forehead under the magnifying.
Damn.
He was just like, you have a big forehead. You think too much. But go ahead. I don't want to hijack your experience. Go ahead.
Wow. It's because you talk to too many people. You talk to too many people. All right. I'm trying to think the long and short of this. I was...
Top 3 things that he said to you that you were like, okay.
Okay. First thing, okay, I'm going to maybe just do 2 because you know me.
Okay,
I had a lot of
I'm like,
actually
do one.
Okay, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 2. So the first thing, I just need to paint the picture. I'm wearing a bandana. I'm wearing an oversized hoodie. and I'm wearing Tim's. So it was one of my like
usual
low-key
attire.
Yeah. So I go and he's like, "You were supposed to be a boy."
Right off the bat, love it. Okay.
I was like, okay. And he was like, "You think like a man, you act like a man, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yes, I am dressed in masculine clothes today. But I didn't say that, you know? Yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever. That sounds good. Fast forward, other stuff. There's someone in my life that's trying to bring me down. And that kept coming up, and I was like, I really can't think of anyone in my life right now. Da, da, da. He circles back to it a couple more times. I'm finally like, all right, the only person I'm thinking you could think of is like a person in a previous relationship, maybe. And he's like, yes, that's the one. And I was like, all right. And he's like, he's still putting black magic on you. And I was like, nah, bro, I could deal with the black magic. That's all good.
And by the way,
I'm gonna be out now.
There's no door, so it's just a curtain. So like, I'm catching snippets of it, and that was all I heard was Diana be like, no, I could live with the black magic. Okay. I'm like crackling in the back.
Because fast forward to after, while yours is going on, there's these 3 other girls who one of them had just went.
We should say when we got there was somebody getting their
reading their session
and
or whatever.
All we heard was this girl be like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I was like very upset.
We're like, why so much, sir?
Why so
much? I was like, all right.
So we didn't know her story yet. So like she left and then you went, whatever.
Right. And then I went and then I was done and then you go in.
And we were joking before, and I said, if he tries to sell you like, oh, there's a demon on you, $500, I could remove it, like say no. So we were like talking about it before we got there.
We were prepping. We were not going to get hustled, you know, like, okay. But, so you go in, and I'm just going to put a pin on this really quick. I'm talking to the girl who went in before, because now one of her other friends wants to go. She's like, did he say you had black magic? And I was like, yeah, but I told him, like, I'm Gucci with the black magic, like, it's fine. She's like, he tried to charge me $400 to get it removed. And I was like, that's wild. Mm-hmm. So let's go to you.
Okay. So I go in, I'm shaking the shells, I'm writing my name down. He said my name is Hindu. I said, okay.
But then he couldn't pronounce it.
Then he was calling me Mitchell. I was like, who's Mitchell? And he's like, you. I said, no, my name's Melanie. He's like, and he looked back, he's like, oh, yes. So like, he didn't know my name.
He asked for your job twice.
He asked for my job twice. He said that I was supposed to be either a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer because I'm highly educated and I threw away that chance and that opportunity. And I was like, well, I work with lawyers. He goes, not good enough. I said, okay. So he did not sell me on the black magic. There was no demons or black magic on me, but I do talk too much. And I said, oh, my job requires me to talk to like 50 people a day because I got to get people, you know.
Right.
And he's like, oh, be careful. Please be careful. You talk too much.
Too many people.
Yeah, so I don't know what that was about.
Well, what do you think he would have said if you said you had a podcast?
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe
he would have been like, that's it. Now stop doing that. You gotta cut your talking somewhere.
I didn't even think about that. But nothing he really said really like stood out to me, and I just thought it was like really funny. Like I thought it was a really fun experience.
Yeah.
And then like the funniest thing that happened to me was at the end he's reading my lines, and he said, "Oh, you have a really big business line, career line. Like it looks like you're pretty set there." He's like, "Love line, non-existent." I said, "Non-existent." He's like, "There is somebody who loves you very, very much." And I said, "Where are they? Are they real?" And he's like, "They love you. They love you. They can't be with you, though." And I was like, great. So then he turned my hand over, and he's like, 2 kids. You're going to have 2 kids. I said, 2 kids? Where's my husband? And I said it really loud. And all the people Diana and the other girls were like cracking up. So then I couldn't stop laughing the rest of the time. And I was just like laughing at his face. And then he started laughing. And I was like, I broke him. Like, I broke this man. But
that's why he didn't sell you on the black magic.
If I want to get married, I have to do it this year. Like, this is my last opportunity, is like this year of life. Like, I just turned 36, so I have until 37. So I have about 11 months, because my birthday is in September.
You got some time.
But I have to have 2 kids first. So I got to get impregnated with twins by September.
So in 2 months.
In 2 months, I have to get impregnated with twins, have the twins.
So by like no later than January.
No later by January.
Yeah.
And then find the husband after the kids come. So consider me booked and busy.
Yeah. And you know what? It's a fun experience, especially if you take it with a grain of salt. You can't take it too seriously, I think. You're not going to drop $400
black magic
to get black magic taken from you.
No.
You gotta give them some credit for trying.
Yep. Hi everyone, I'm Melanie.
And I'm Diana.
And we're two queens in a pod.
Yes, and we are two queens from Queens, giving you the Queen's perspective. And today we are going to the Central Park Boathouse.
Love it.
Yeah, and so I'm going to start us off.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off by talking about the OG boathouse.
Okay.
This came before what we know the boathouse to be today.
Yeah, the actual what the structure was there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you all checked into our Central Park episode, you would have learned that the first section, it opened up in sections.
Yeah, over the course of like 15 years, right? Like 1858 was like the first section open all the way up until like 76, right? Like 1876, not 1976.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. And so basically what happened is really in the early days of the park opening, the park designers, Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux, they really saw boating as an ideal way for New Yorkers to get a rural experience. Mm-hmm. And that was really sort of the objective of Central Park in general, is to give city dwellers a rural, like, countryside sort of vibe.
I was going to say that you have to remember, like, this time of, like, the Gilded Age in New York was very copycat of London or, like, of English, like, society. And they would be in, like, they would stroll through the park and do rowboats, like, as English society. So I think they were, like, copying that kind of style as well.
Right, yeah.
Of luxury, like, style of luxury.
Right, or, like, faux country luxury. Like,
yeah.
How do we glamorize country life?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay. So what they had in the 1860s, in that same lake that you see today, visitors could take a passage boat to complete a circuit of the lake, and they would stop at various boat landings. So in my mind, it's like a hop-on, hop-off tour of the boat.
Okay.
You get on and off. Mm-hmm. And so visitors could also, if they're feeling like they want a little more private vibe, they could rent a gondola for a more intimate excursion. So the
gondolas were there even in the 1860s.
That was probably one of the first things. Okay. So it was like full group rides or private gondolas. And like no one was operating their own boat. It was always other people.
Oh, okay. Not like today. Okay.
Not like today, exactly. But what happened is that this got so popular that they changed the business model to what it is today. And so they built a boathouse that you could rent boats out in. And guess how much it was per hour?
40 cents.
I looked it up. Sorry. Research, really good. Which you could compare to now, which is $25 to $30 an hour, depending on if it's a weekend or not. So then in the 1870s, that's when the first boathouse was constructed. So before they would just rent out the boats, not through anything fancy. So this was designed by Calvert Vaux, one of the original designers of the whole park. And it was a wooden Victorian style building, boathouse. And it was used only for boat rentals. It had no other purpose. Like that was it. But the whole thing just made me think, like, the OG boathouse made me just think how business models and growth seemed like so simple back then. Like, that was revolutionary. Like, we're going to let them rent out their own boats and we'll make even more money. And it's like, I don't know. It's just so cool how, like, simple an idea was, like, to us may have been this complex rebranding for them. And they're like, this is the next generation.
Remember in LaGuardia Airport, they would charge people 50 cents to watch the planes go by.
Right, that's what I mean.
It's like it's really funny.
Like, it's so revolutionary for the time that they're like, even the smallest change is like, I have a huge idea. Mm-hmm. But
we always talk about this. There was no Netflix back then, so it's like these like little things were the most exciting things in the world.
Yeah, this was a thing to do.
Our brains are just rotting because we're wasting our life. You know what I mean? Here behind the TV.
I know. Well, we're getting out. You gotta get out. But fast forward 20 years, the OG boathouse gets demolished due to disrepair, and then this brings us to the next generation, the rebirth of the boathouse, which started in 1954. Replacing the Victorian single-style boathouse with today's red brick limestone building with a copper roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
And although the primary use was still boat rental, it also provided park goers with a comfort station and a dining terrace.
Yeah, it wasn't, when you say dining terrace, it wasn't a restaurant. There was like concessions and then you could sit and like have food.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like table service like it is now. That comes a little bit later.
Yeah, that comes a bit later.
And like, it's so funny because if you've been to the boathouse before, there's a section where there's all these retractable windows and like you just look over the lake. But with this style, like the 1958 one,
54, yeah, or
54,
whatever,
yeah, where those windows are, that's where all the boats were.
Yeah, that's where
you would like dock your boat there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like really interesting. We'll put up some pictures too, but it's like really interesting the way that it like transformed.
Right, like as I was doing the research, I was imagining what we know it today, and then like picturing like what it really was or what it originally was.
And I knew you were gonna get into this, but the boathouse is like that since that boat remodeled. It was called like the Loeb Boathouse because Carl Loeb and his wife Abigail Loeb, they Moses Loeb, who's not related to Robert Moses, but he's in the story as well.
He is in the story, yes.
But they financed the new boathouse and they donated $350,000, which at this time, like 2025, was $3.5 million.
Wow.
And it's actually interesting because Abigail, the wife, I think it was like more her like wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Which like her husband was obviously financed it.
He's like, whatever you want, darling.
But she grew up in money in like the late 1800s, and then her like it was so funny because like anyone could be rich and then not be rich the next day due to like failed financial, anything.
Yeah.
So her like father had like a failed business venture and they lost all their money.
Oh,
and then she would do all these like odd jobs like piano lessons and all this stuff to like make
ends meet.
Yeah, make ends meet for their family. And then she met this rich guy and became rich again.
Perfect.
She
was like, this is exactly what I needed.
This is what I needed, and now I need a boathouse.
Please get me a boathouse in Central Park.
So because they financed it, they kind of have their name on like the Loeb Central Park Boathouse. I don't see it now, which we'll talk about in a second, how they sold it off in 2022 to a new person. Like if you go on the website, it's just Central Park Boathouse. Like I didn't see anything like Loeb inspired except for like in the history of it.
Correct.
But because they financed it, they also got money from the Parks Department as well, which was like $100,000, and that falls under Robert Moses at the time. So he was
which is really funny because I mean I feel like if you've been listening to us, you know that he spread himself wide so that he pretty much had every single job. So that he didn't really have to get approved by anyone because the person he had to get approved by, he already held that position. And so he was the park constable of the time. Is that right? Or
he wasn't the commissioner?
It was designed by Robert Moses and a Stewart constable, the park chief. So
yeah, and then like the architect of it was like Amory Roth and Sons, and they like had a lot of different architectural buildings and pieces throughout New York City, like at that time in the 1950s. And they were the ones they're the architecture firm. So like Robert Moses like oversaw things, but that architecture firm like built the exterior and everything.
Right. And I just think it's so funny because like the true or the beginning mission statement of Central Park was to give people a country vibe, but then right here with this concession stands, this and that, it's like pulling you back into the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
It's like we're gonna glamp now. We're not just camping anymore. We're gonna make this more of a glamping experience.
I do like glamping more than I like camping.
It's true. I mean, like,
you
want something to eat.
Yeah.
It's there. It makes sense.
But you want to fast forward to what we know today?
Yeah, I have in the 1980s. Is that the next point in time?
So the next remodel is 1983. They get renovated again for $750,000. I'm like, wow, where are they throwing the money at this boathouse? Damn. And this is when it becomes what it more is now. Like it becomes the restaurant and like the dining area.
So the primary function is no longer being a boathouse.
Right.
It's now the main function is fine dining, if you will.
And then, that kind of is throughout the 90s, and we'll talk about this, but like Harry Met Sally was filmed there and Sex and the City. So like that's like the quintessential boathouse that you see in the movies and stuff. It's from the 1980 like remodel.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the things they did in the renovation was they closed up the patio with pillars. So they added pillars.
Like how we said that the boats were right there. They moved all that to be the dining section.
Right, because they didn't need that open space anymore because the
Yeah.
boats were no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
So they added pillars, and then they added those retractable awnings, which is crazy that costs $750,000.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I don't know if that's there anymore. I think that they have the retractable awning.
Oh, no, it's still there.
Okay.
I actually went and ate there with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and I was there while they were like moving it. So depending on when the sun is hitting, they don't want it to blind you. So there's someone's like job is to
They should have that automatic.
make sure it goes on a timer. Yeah, I guess they could. You should talk to them about
All
that.
right, I'll let them know.
Guys, come over here. What the hell are you doing? No, you don't need manual labor anymore. The computers could do it for you.
Wow.
So let's bring it to super 89, like the early 90s basically. And let's bring it to When Harry Met Sally.
Okay.
So we're going to go off-roading a little bit, if that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
If that's cool with all of you, okay?
No,
No what?
I was going to say, no disagreements from the bunch. Okay.
Okay, it's your last chance.
Okay, all
No?
right.
Okay, cool. We're all good with this. So, if you haven't seen When Harry Met Sally, you have to see When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
But the scene that takes place at the boathouse, Sally's with two of her girlfriends, and they're talking to Princess Leia.
Fisher. Carrie Fisher.
They're talking to the Carrie Fisher character, and they're saying like that you have to stop having affairs with married men. Like, it's officially over. He's never gonna leave her. Oh, I know. That kind of that kind of conversation, and then it breaks to them being like, well, Sally's just so lucky. Like, you have the last good one. And this is some dude she's dating before she meets Harry for like the third time, which is like when they become friends. And she's like, oh, I actually just broke up with him. And so like they're just talking about their love life in general. And then I would say the next major scene that I recall being filmed at the boathouse was the Sex and the City end of season 3, where Carrie and Big like fall into the water. It's like an iconic scene. But I feel like so much of the conversation that is happening amongst the three girls in When Harry Met Sally is like fleshed out in the entire 3rd season of Sex and the City.
And do you think that was planned? Or you just think it's a coincidence?
I wonder if it's planned, because I feel like the woman who created Sex and the City, not the writer so much, but the person who created the show. Michelle? Is that? Oh, it's the same person? She had her hands in both.
I think she probably was like a producer on the show.
Yeah, she was like a creative, whatever, energy in it. I could only imagine that person had to have watched When Harry Met Sally or was a fan of like Nora Ephron. If you're making a modern day romance in New York City, you're definitely, you know what I mean? Just a decade after all those, just a decade after all those movies are coming out, she has to be an influence to you.
Okay.
So whether it was intentional or like sort of more subconscious mind, like I do think that happened because.
And then at the end of the scene, they end their affair. She's obviously hooking up with Big, who's a married man.
Right, which
and
is
then
like
in that conversation, it was you should stop hooking up with married men.
Right, and she does do it. Like that's the end of it. And then also, Charlotte is breaking up with Troy. Troy. Whatever his name.
Troy Bolton from High School Musical.
Exactly. We're all in this together. So they're ending like, oh, you got the last good one. Like Trey was like the last good one, and they're ending their marriage.
Okay.
So I feel like that's another parallel that's going on.
Well, Carrie Fisher is in Sex and the City.
When?
She's in the episode where they're in LA, and it's Vince Vaughn's character's hooking up with Carrie, and she's like, this is my house.
Oh, she's house sitting.
And he's house sitting, and it's Carrie Fisher's house. And she's like, get out of my house.
OMG. So we're building this theory.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something there. Um,
And
but
then
yeah.
how do you relate that to 27 Dresses, where the girl gets married at the boathouse and she always dreamed about getting married at the boathouse, and then her sister steals all of her ideas. So how's that related?
when they all go to that shower
And she steals
and
the
Charlotte's
baby
friend steals the baby name, and so Samantha's
that's a
like,
stretch, yeah.
"You bitch." I don't know about that. I don't know that movie that well.
Yeah.
But I did a little going off-roading even more. I did kind of a deep dive into the filming of the scene with Carrie and
Okay.
Big.
Are you going to tell us?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have some notes. Let me see if I find them. Okay. So one thing they did before Sarah Jessica Parker and whatever Big's real name is went into...
John.
No, that's still his character, like the actor's name.
Oh, Chris North something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So they, for them, dredged the pond, which basically means like they did a whole cleaning process of the pond.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's a bougie move. Like, you must clean this pond before I fall in it. No?
What if there's like toxins in it?
All right. Fair. Then they put a mattress under the water where the two of them were going to land on.
They both did their own stunts. They both fell in the water.
They did it once. It was a one and done shot, and they just recorded whatever we get is what we get, and we're going to use it. And actually, if you know that and you watch the scene, I don't want to say they break character, but it just seems so, like, organic.
Okay.
Like, it seems like they're really them, if that makes sense. Like, they're no longer the characters a little bit.
Yeah,
or who they are
knowing
become
they're
the
gonna fall into
characters.
the water.
Or just being funny about him cracking up. Like, Sarah Jessica Parker's cracking up in the scene. Like, she's not trying to look cute. You know what I mean? She just, like, has a very authentic response. So they put the mattress down so that they don't, like... So they have some, like, footing. Okay? It was a one-and-done shot, like we just said. Sarah Jessica Parker cuts herself getting out of the lake and needed to get a tetanus shot right after the shooting.
Where'd she cut herself? On the mattress?
I think getting out, like getting up off the
like
dock,
okay,
like
okay.
back onto the wood,
right, that
she
checks
somehow cut herself,
Yeah.
and she had to go get an emergency tetanus shot. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you want to bring it back to now?
Yeah, now we're in
Yeah.
the 2020s.
So October 2022. October 2022. I feel like that's so weird to say.
Yeah.
But the original person who owned it.
It also closed during 2020.
Yeah, well,
Not to bring up
but
COVID, but yeah. And that, yeah. And that's set, and then they were set to permanently close after that first 2020 close.
So they were closing in 2022, and like everybody was like kind of in an uproar about it. Like, we need to save the boathouse.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like going crazy. We actually went there this summer before they were like officially closing. Remember we went there like for the first time?
Yeah, I guess it had like a soft opening.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
No, we went when they were closing. Like it was the summer of 2022. They closed October 2022. But we didn't know they were closing at the time. And we were like, oh wow, we went there before they closed.
Do you have when they opened after COVID?
Yeah, they opened in 2021.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So then they had like a 1 year opening,
Yeah.
and we did go that time.
Yeah.
And the vibe was a little different there.
It was very chill. Like you could sit wherever.
Yeah.
Like, it was like only the dining portion was like where you're looking at the water.
Exactly.
But everything else was like open seating.
Right. And it was like super crowded, I feel like, right?
I don't feel like it was that crowded.
No?
No.
Okay.
I think because we got a table, so maybe I didn't feel like it was crowded. Like we were sitting with these people.
in front of the bar, so we
Yeah.
were able to like look over into the scenery.
Yeah.
Whereas like we couldn't get those seats now without a reservation.
Right,
Yeah.
correct. So it closes down, and then a landmarks commission are the people who take it over. Is that what it is? Who's like Legends Hospitality. I'm sorry. Legends Hospitality takes it over in early 2023. They do a $3.25 million renovation. Again, I don't know. And then if you go there now, like it doesn't seem that different compared to 2022. They did like a little refresh, I think. But.
Yeah, the only thing I could imagine is stuff behind the walls that they're working on, or like I don't know.
So they did a $3.25 million renovation and officially opened in March of 2024.
Yes, March 2024.
So it's been open for over a year.
And something interesting...
Under the new Legends Hospitality.
And something interesting about them is that they're a massive operations company, and they oversee, in addition to the boathouse, concessions to the World Observatory on One World Trade Center, the Circle Line, OG to one of my first jobs, OG, shout out to one of my first jobs, and Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
They're in charge of all the food there. And something really cool about them is they hired back a considerable portion of the previous laid off staff from COVID times.
Good for them.
So I was like, yes.
Well, I was kind of going a little deep dive because I was interested. If you ever been to the Boathouse, so there's the Boathouse restaurant, then there's like this dock side where it's like a grab and go, like you could grab a drink there and sit by the water, and they have all these like open public seating. And I feel like that's also what they made in the new renovation, because I don't remember that really being there back in 2022.
I thought
that was more like you had to have a reservation for that, less, not
for the seating,
like where we sat recently.
Yeah,
I don't remember that being like a public space back in like 3 years ago.
Yeah. I'm just like wondering because like okay, there's a place you're talking about that's really, really grab and go, but then there's like an additional seating area on the wooden dock.
That's still the restaurant.
Where you still need to get seated and have your name put down.
Right.
I almost think all of that was open.
Open to the public?
Yeah.
And you like would sit there with a drink? I don't remember there being a bar outside. But
yeah, maybe not.
Regardless, that's not my deep dive that I'm trying to get at.
Okay,
so
cool.
I was wondering, are the rowboats that you rent connected to the boathouse? And the answer is yes. So Legends, who is the hospitality, which we just went over, they have to manage the employees at the boathouse, the restaurant, and the actual rental boathouse. But it all falls under the New York Parks Department. So the New York Parks Department pretty much owns everything, and they are rented out to Legends. Like Legends doesn't own like typically like copyrighted their names. Like they have to rent, and their rental agreement is within the boathouse and the rental boat. So isn't that interesting?
So they're like subcontracted.
Yeah.
By the Parks Department.
Yep.
Interesting. So they don't even really own it. They're just almost leasing it, you could say?
Kind of. I would say like that's like so the boathouse.
That's cool though. There's like two revenue sources there.
Yeah. And I thought another really fun fact is Central Park itself is designated as a scenic landmark in 1974. It's one of the first places in New York City to ever receive that status. And because the boathouse sits inside Central Park, it technically falls under landmark status. So any changes or major changes or structural to the appearance needs to go through the Landmarks Commission approval.
Interesting.
And that could be anything in Central Park, but just since we're talking about the boathouse,
right,
any renovation needs to go through the landmark status.
Yeah, but I'm sure like the rink, I'm sure Tavern on the Green, all that. I wonder if that makes it kind of a headache to take it over. Because like, for a while people...
Sure it does.
Yeah, right? Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so they're operated under a concession agreement with a private company, which is Legends, and they run their day-to-day under a contract within the New York City Department of Parks and Rec.
Okay. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Feels like a lot of hands are in that space.
But I would think, to be honest, because that one person who owned it previously, he also owned a couple of like really famous restaurants, like Gabriel's Restaurant, if you've known that place, that's a steakhouse. Particular person, I feel like it would be more difficult if like me and you ran it compared to like this really conglomerate. Yeah, they have like concession stand that has like Yankee Stadium, blah, blah, blah. Like it seems like they like have a well-oiled like machine. That they'll be like, all right, we're doing this, and this. We have a bunch of lawyers. Like, seems like they can handle it.
Right, and they had to even take it over. They had to agree to a capital investment to upgrade the facilities. So like they just had enough overhead to be like, sure, whatever you need, we'll do it.
So maybe that was what we were like. Why'd you need $3 million? Maybe they like renovated like the things like you're saying, the behind the walls, like the plumbing and like all the stuff that needed to be done since like the 1980s.
Maybe some termites got in there. They had to replace some of the wood. Who knows? The
turtles. Imagine like the turtles all like live there.
That's
because
wild.
we went like a couple of years ago to row the boats.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
I loved it. It was so much fun. Well, What I love doing is like, so every summer I go like to the Poconos, so like I really got like my rowing technique down. I like looking at other people and be like, nah. They're not doing shallow enough of a row. You know what I mean? Like you gotta.
One of
you
my
gotta do it
favorite
right.
like
The technique.
Instagram like reels are like whatever happened to the men, and it's all couples in a rowboat, and it's always the woman like rowing it and the man just like sitting there, and it's like, why are the men the passenger princess?
Getting fed grapes while we do all the dirty work.
But so it used to be cash only. It's not cash only anymore, and they don't have the gondola rides anymore. Like they
do not.
They're like. They are saying they're coming back, but like they have not come back since like 2021.
No, I remember like pre-2021 seeing them and thinking it was really cool, but I haven't seen them come back. But maybe we get a little bit into our experiences. I know I went once for fine dining and it was really nice. I thought the food was decent. I thought the pricing was what you would expect in Manhattan at a boathouse.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to save money, don't get drinks, but like whatever. Yeah. And then I feel like the last time we went was the most recent time. And remember we brought up Sex in the City and some random tourist was like, I was wondering if this was where that scene was filmed.
The Texas girl.
Yeah. But like anytime we've gone recently, I just love it. I think it's like a really nice, quaint place to
Talking
go.
about how Central Park was designed to be this countryside, like quiet park.
How far we've come.
Well, I feel like when we go there, feel very removed from the city. You don't feel like you're in Manhattan.
That's true.
You're just sitting by the lake, and it actually is like kind of quiet. You're not like really close to like where the main roads are.
You could actually smell grass and green.
Yeah.
It's true. No, it is. You're right. I was being a little cynical. You're right.
It looks like Paris in the fall.
It does give Parisian vibes, like the idea that you're
seated on the water,
right? And you're there to look at what's going on.
And for some reason,
you.
There's always like music playing. Like there's some guy like playing the violin somewhere, and you.
So on that note, we'll start ending it off here. I got a quote from a New York writer, Helen Rossner, who was sort of doing like a review of the Boathouse, and she writes, quote, "The pricey tourist bait canteen is more satisfying than it has the right to be." What do you think about that?
I feel like that sounds sassy.
It is a little sassy.
Yeah.
I think the way I took it was that, like, it definitely is for tourists, but it's so nice that even New Yorkers go there.
Yeah. I think that's Central Park in general.
Yeah.
Even though it's touristy, you're not going to avoid it because it's so beautiful.
Right. And originally it was made for New Yorkers. Mm-hmm. So that's still stayed true. It's not a place like Times Square that New Yorkers try to avoid.
Yeah,
this was made for us, and we're still going to enjoy it. But if you're a tourist, come too, because we can share. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Another quote. Oh, well, if that's the end, I want to end with a very... something that stuck with me from the psychic, whatever his name is.
Oh, okay. We're circling back here.
Circling back. This is how we're going to end it.
You can't get out of your head.
He's in my head. He put black magic on me. But he kept asking me, like, well, what do you see for the future? What do you see for the future? And I said, I don't know. I don't think about the future. And he said, looked me in the eyes and he said, you need to start thinking about your future because this is your life and you don't want to waste it.
Wow.
He said it a little bit better than that, but...
No, that sounded pretty good. That sounded pretty good.
So think about your future because this is your life and you don't want to waste it.
Maybe sit by the boathouse, grab a drink, contemplate this very thought. All right, bye guys.
Bye.